So my name's Terry Canning, and I am the founder of FarmWizard.com, an internet herd management service for dairy and beef farmers. I initially grew up on a dairy farm in County Armagh. When I went to grammar school, I studied, my A levels were physics, chemistry and maths. At that point I was focusing on the science and trying to keep my options open going to university. I then went to Queen's University of Belfast to study an M.Eng in electronical and electrical engineering. In and around my third or fourth year, I decided that I wanted to focus more on IT and computing, simply because I'd seen a lot of my peers a couple of years older than me getting good jobs whenever they graduated. I did a 3-month placement in BT, and they eventually employed me whenever I graduated. So I worked in BT for about 3 years. I then went to a consultancy company to work in internet banking, and then I worked for Nortel for 3 years. Whenever I was in Nortel, I got great opportunities to travel the world. I worked for a little while in Silicon Valley, I worked in Canada, and I did a full year in Beijing in China. And I came back then in 2004, and I had the idea of Farm Wizard, because what it did, it combined my background growing up in a dairy farm, my knowledge of the industry, and also my experiences in IT, and I could spot that there was market potential there. So I started off with the idea. I put together a business plan, I attracted some business angel investment, and I got Invest Northern Ireland involved. So we initially started off winning an Invest Northern Ireland Smart Award for innovation, and that enabled me to give up my job and to start working on the product full time. So for the first 6 months, I just worked in my attic writing software. I developed a prototype of the system, and after the 6 months I went and showed it to the Department of Agriculture here in Northern Ireland, and they got very excited by it. Farm Wizard is an internet herd management service for dairy and beef farmers, and what it enables farmers to do is to maintain their legislative records. So ever since Foot and Mouth and BSE, etc., farmers have to be able to provide records to supply those to auditors, and they also have to register certain events, for example the birth of a new calf, direct with government databases. What we do with Farm Wizard is provide a very easy way for them to do that. So obviously farmers, they're not, unlike other industries, they don't sit in front of a PC and they can't record stuff by just typing into a computer. So what we did with Farm Wizard was provide mobile applications that allowed farmers to record information when they're out and about in the fields or on the tractors or anything like that. So firstly, a farmer can record information by a mobile phone, just like this. They can produce a text message, send it into the server, and it's directly written to their records. They can record information by a PDA, where they would pull out the reader, type in which animal happened, what the event was, click record, and then it's sent up to the server. Or they can record information via an electronic ID tag reader. So a lot of the animals have little tags, and they can be just recorded by swiping the reader across the tag, and then the information recorded that way. The best way to see Farm Wizard in action and to see and to realise the benefits of Farm Wizard is to go onto a farm and let's see it working.
My name's Neil Pepper. We're farming at Dromore here. We're farming about 400 dairy cows. One of the big advantages of this program is that I can record, say, that cow there. I can look up any information on her last service dates, milk recording data, any information at all on that animal at any time during the day. I take it home tonight, download it onto Farm Wizard's own online site, and it is then updated, so it's there. It's just a herd book online, really. It's also on here as well, so it's in 2 places at once. Right, the information that I put onto the PDA out in the shed was for this animal here. I've now synced up, and it's now on the screen here. The information given here gives you everything you need to know about the animal. The big advantage of the whole system is that I don't have to come back to the office to find out something about an animal. I can look all the information on one animal on that there outside.
So the main benefit on a farm this size is just the amount of time that's saved in actually keeping the records. So before, Neil would have had to keep paper copies, carry paper copies about with him, record activity on the farm, and then transfer it by paper. With Farm Wizard and our mobile devices, all he needs to do is record the information and then synchronise it onto the main central server, so that if the auditors do arrive, or the trading standards or the quality assurance people arrive, he can just log on to Farm Wizard on the main computer and print out the information that he needs. The future for Farm Wizard is to grow the business throughout the UK and the Republic of Ireland. We have just over 1,000 farmers on the system, and we now want to grow that as much as we can. We're also looking at other technologies. Coming into legislation quite soon is electronic IDs. So what we want is for farmers to be able to not just have to type in information to a PDA, but just to scan an RFID tag and all that information to be recorded and displayed on our equipment. Well, I found IT to be a great enabler for me in setting up my own business, because not only could I come up with the idea and the concept of Farm Wizard and spot the gap of the market, but because of the IT skills that I have obtained, I was actually able to create it just purely myself. I get real motivation whenever I see something that I thought of 4 years ago, spent a lot of time developing and realised actually being used on the farm and actually being used by so many farms throughout the UK, and that gives me a real buzz.